Hello and welcome. This is Magicbricks Now. You're watching Property Hotline with me, Kavita Krishnan. We will help you today with answers to all questions related to buying, selling and investing in real estate. Answering all your questions will be Jayashree Kurup. She heads content and research at magicbricks.com. Jayashree, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kavita.
Let's get started. We have a question that's come in through email. Ram Gorad writes in and he says that he's trying to buy a house in Ulve near Navi Mumbai, but now he's put that on hold because of demonetization. He wants to know whether he should wait or whether he should go ahead with the purchase. What will be the situation in the market in the upcoming dates? Will flat rates be high or low in Ulve, he says. Jayashree, lots of rumors about demonetization doing the rounds, and I'm sure you've seen those WhatsApp forwards of prices crashing 30 to 50%.
I think that's completely unreasonable, and consumers should understand that if the prices had been 30 to 50% over what it should be, would you have bought properties 6 months ago? If there is not that much leeway in the market, don't expect prices to come crashing down. I think the realistic thing would be that prices will there is some small leeway of about 8 to 10%, in certain markets up to 15%. That is the maximum that you can negotiate, and that, I think, if you are a serious buyer and you go to the developers are any which way negotiating with you and giving you that small price differential. If you, I think, but there is something that I would like to say, Kavita. This is the time when prices have been stable for 2 years. The demonetization has taken a lot of that cash component and uncertainty out of the market. I think this is a good time for users like Ram Gorad to actually look at what properties you want, check out the properties, figure out what the prices are, sit across the table with the sellers and tell them that I do believe that there is going to be some correction. If you give me that correction right away, I'll buy right now. And I think serious buyers are doing that. You have a little more time to do your research, but do your research well. Now, because you've asked for Ulve, let me give you a little brief about that locality. I think ready to move in properties are available here, and some are under construction, which would be ready for possession by about 2017-18. Here I'm referring to the stocks that I have on Magicbricks. In the average value in Ulve is currently around 6,000 per square foot, and it has been ranked about 14 out of 56 in the localities in Navi Mumbai. This is a consumer ranking, so it's like people like you who have been coming to Magicbricks and ranking the localities. It is in high demand and there is lots of supply, and I think you know that it's a well-established area. So I think what you should do is go out, look for properties. There's plenty of stock in the market, and sit across the negotiating table and get the best prices that you can.
Right, and Ulve, of course, is in the middle of all that infrastructure that is coming into Navi Mumbai, be it the airport, be it the Trans-Harbour link. So you actually have a lot of activity in Mumbai, which the graph also reflects the graph on your screen. You can see that prices have gone up 6%, peaking towards the end of the year. Of course, that also has a lot to do with the news of the airport and the final approvals, the final permissions, etc. coming in over there. Very quickly, Jayashree, before we move on to the next question, this is also because we're getting a lot of questions about demonetization and its impact. You said about 8 to 10% in a market like Ulve. Now, if you're talking about property in general, where do you see maximum pressure on prices? Will that be in new properties, in resale properties, in luxury, in mid-income housing? Where do you see most pressure on prices?
Two categories. One, I think in the luxury category, I think there is a small buffer. There is a larger buffer than in other properties, and that is where I think a lot of negotiation is going on. The other thing is in the secondary markets, which was really heavy in cash transactions in some markets. That's where we have seen a significant pressure on those prices. I think secondary markets have felt the pressure much more than any other markets. But I think if you look at the secondary markets, remember there are some benefits to it. One, it is ready to move in. Two, these are lived-in areas. It is easy to, its social infrastructure is already established. Three, those are the areas where, the teething troubles that you see in new developing localities have already been sorted out. So there is some merit to the secondary market. Today, because those markets are under pressure, the chances of you going out and getting a good deal out there is very high.
Right. So if you are a buyer in the market and Ram Gorat, there is really no reason for you to worry. In fact, you are in a good place in the market right now. Developers are willing to cut deals. So if you're a buyer like Ram in the market, this is the time that you need to go out and, of course, push for a much, much better deal in the resale market and in the luxury market, though you should not shy away from negotiating for any property that you're buying at the current time. We have Alankrita now, who's written in through email from Mumbai. She says that she bought a premium 3 BHK flat, areas around 1,740 square feet, at 8,000 rupees per square foot at Dharampet, Nagpur, for investment purpose. She will get possession in 2017 March. She wants to know if it is a good investment. Jayashree, Nagpur is a market that has been on the top of a lot of, investment lists for a long, long time, but we've not really seen too much movement over there with the CM hailing from Nagpur and some work on Mihan. Do you see that she can expect better days for her investment now?
I think so. You see, Nagpur is fixing some problems, basic problems like the governance issues, and you have a very fine team of bureaucrats working to sort that out. The other thing is that Nagpur, whenever infrastructure is fixed, the property values as a corollary do go up. So I think some of the basic problems of Nagpur are being sorted out, and like you said, Mihan is, it's a second innings for Mihan. So I think, yes, I think there is more potential in that market than you have seen so far. And I don't think right now she's talking about her property being ready in 2017. Already we have seen that the values of premium properties like she has bought is between 7,000 to 10,000. Now she bought at 8,000, so I think there has been some value appreciation. I am assuming that yours would be in the appreciation category. So you have seen some value appreciation. If your property is getting ready in 2017, don't immediately sell your property. What I would suggest is get your property, hold on to it. Normally the values start going up about 6 months after possession. Also remember that we are in a very uncertain market. There has been a lot of anxiety in the market over the last 2 years, and especially since November 8th after the demonetization. So it's much better to let all the policy issues play out before you turn seller, unless you desperately need that money. I would say take that property, put it on rent and get the rental returns, because you're getting something between 20,000 to 35,000 per month for a 3 BHK in this area. So I would say that you should actually hold on to your property. Don't be in a hurry to offload it, because it's a good locality, and I believe that Nagpur's best is yet to come.
And Jayashree, very interestingly, she's getting possession in 2017 March, and we know that GST is expected to kick in somewhere around that time. At least that is the deadline that we're looking at, and Nagpur is expected to be the biggest beneficiary if GST does come into play.
I think the GST is likely to be a little delayed from what I understand from today's report. But even if it's delayed by a few months, I still think Nagpur is a good city, which is why I said hold on, let policy play out. Right now there's a lot of policy uncertainty in the market. Let it play out before you take any decision to sell.
Right, Alankrita, lot happening for Nagpur market over there, and with a chief minister who is a Nagpurian, you should really wait for some time before you take a decision on that property. We have a caller we have a viewer who's called in now. I believe Kaushal is on the line. Kaushal, do you have a question?
Yeah, there's a question for...
Okay, I think we've lost Kaushal's line. We will try and get back to him. In the meanwhile, we have Jagdish, who's written in on email from Mumbai. He says that he wants to buy an apartment and he wants to know if it's a good time to buy or should he wait. Which place in Mumbai would be the best? His budget is 1 crore rupees. Jayashree, with a 1 crore rupee budget, I don't know where he's going to get a flat in Mumbai. He obviously has to look outside Mumbai. Any particular areas that you would want him to focus on?
See, I think he would be able to get about 800 to about 1,100, 1,200 square feet in places like Dahisar East, Meera Road and Banduk. I can see there are listings. There are listings even within the city. I can see 1 BHK listings, but I think normally what happens is that you may find that the listed value and the actual transactions value, there is a discrepancy. So if you may, when I look at the site, I can see that there are places like Malad, Lokhandwala and Kandivali East, where 1 BHK of about 550 square feet is listed on the site. So what I would suggest is that with your budget, go to the website and check out what are the available properties there. I suggest that you also go one step further and start talking to people and seeing what you can, what is the negotiated value that you can get at. Like we've been saying again and again, today serious sellers are willing to negotiate with serious buyers. So you should actually pick up the localities that are most convenient to you and then see which are the ones that you should be looking at. Please don't go for something which is in the future where the development is still underway, because there is some amount of confusion about, there has been delays in the market and so on. Try and pick up a property that is as close to completion as possible.
Right. And Jagdish, suburban Mumbai is essentially where you need to look at with a budget of 1 crore rupees. And like Jayashree said, look for properties nearing completion or look at the resale market, because that's where you'll probably get yourself a very good deal considering the pressure that demonetization is putting on prices over there. We have Gopi's question next. He's written in through email from Bengaluru. He says he's a resident of Bengaluru and is interested in buying a villa near the Hennur main road. That is Ramki Serene Woods is a project he's identified. He wants to know, Jayashree, if this property is approved by the BDA or not. He says that the BDA website doesn't have this information. And what are the prevailing rates in the Chikkagubbi village area where this villa is located? Jayashree, would you know, is this project BDA approved?
I haven't found out yet, Kavita, so you should keep Gopi engaged, and we will definitely make an effort and find out if it's approved, and we'll get back to you. We'd love to get back to you. As far as this other question is concerned about Chikkagubbi village, roughly about 4,600 to about 7,700, that's the range. And I can see that there are a lot of good developers building in this area. Clearly, it's something that, there's lots of stock in the market. And I think if you are a little uncertain about the property that you have chosen, you should look around in that locality, because there's plenty of stock in that market and from good established developers. If you look at the locality, the Hennur main road, between 4,200 and 6,500 is what you get. And here the values are between 4,600 and 7,700. That's because these are premium apartments and villas that are coming up here. So I think as far as the BDA approvals, it would be a good idea to check with your local brokers. A lot of them give you good advice on whether these approvals have come in or not. But we will definitely try to find out, and we'll keep you posted.
Right, so we will try and keep you posted, and once we get to know, we will definitely email you back. In the meanwhile, the rates that you asked for, 4,600 to 7,700 is the average rate at the Chikkagubbi area. Of course, like Jayashree did point out, do make a few inquiries, ask around, and in different projects, and you will get a sense of what is the price that people are actually selling at, and that should also give you a fair idea of what should be a fair price at which you should buy that property. We have a question coming in from Ganesh now. He says that he works in BKC in Mumbai. He wants to buy a property. He's looking for resale or new property, and he wants possession in the next 7 to 8 months. His budget is 55 lakh rupees. He wants to know the options available. He's also fine with resale properties. He says that please note the property will be for living in and not for investment. End user over there, he's very clearly told us, Jayashree, that he works in BKC. His budget is 55 lakh rupees. Where can he buy property in and around BKC?
I can see that Dahisar East, between 530 to 650 square feet, 1 BHK is listed on our site. If you look at Ulve, which is about an hour away, it's about 31 kilometers from BKC, and here you will get about 900 to 1100 square feet, a 2 BHK also within your budget. Virar West, which is quite far away. It's about 2 hours away from from where you work. There you will get a 3 BHK, a slightly larger one, but remember you will be traveling 2 hours to work every day. But the limited point I'm making is that your options are few, but there are options. And I would suggest that you go to the website. I can see there's plenty of stock there. Check out the stock, see what suits you, and come back to us and figure out. We'll help you figure out which is the best property you should be narrowing down. Actually, Kavita, again and again, I see people who are coming in and asking, what should I buy? I think I would like to use this opportunity to tell consumers that you should be doing your own research. There are plenty of options available online. Put your budget there, put your requirements there, and we do give you a lot of options. For instance, on Magicbricks, we give you a travel time search. Using all the time options that I'm giving you, I've used the travel time search. You can use it too. And if you are looking at, look at the prices of the locality, look at the prices of similar projects around there, and then figure out which is the project that you should be going for. Today, like Kavita said a little while ago, secondary markets are under pressure because the cash component has gone away from the market. It is a good time to look at the secondary markets because serious sellers will entertain you because you're a serious buyer and you're an end user. And end users are in demand right now. The other thing that you should be looking at is whichever project you look for, please make sure that it is legally clear, the titles are clear, try and take a loan from a bank so that you will be able to get them to do the due diligence. A bank due diligence normally helps you to buy the right properties because they check whether the titles are clear, all the papers are available and so on. So that's a good check for you as an end user.
Right. So home buying tips over there, and especially for end users, for first time home buyers, things that you should be keeping in mind. But here's your answer. You essentially need to look at the Dahisar East, the Virar West or the Ulve markets. Now, of course, Dahisar and Virar are far more developed and far more, they're the older markets over here. 10,803 rupees per square foot is what Dahisar East is averaging at. Virar East, 4,355 rupees per square foot. We will have the rates for Ulve up for you in a bit. But the fact is also that you need to check on travel time because like you said, you work in BKC and you will be living a little far away. The best thing to do, of course, is to travel from your place of work to the home that you intend to buy using the same public transport or private transport that you would be using to commute. Ulve over there, 6,014 rupees per square foot, up 6% of course because of all the infrastructure that's coming in. So that is probably a market that you should definitely have a look at. We have an email query next from Vignesh, who's from Bengaluru. Now he's considering to buy a property in Rajaji Nagar in Bengaluru. The name of the project is 1 Bangalore West by Phoenix. He wants to know the value of the property. Jayashree, can you help him with the value of this particular property?
See, currently it's about 12,000 rupees a square foot, and you get 2 to 4 BHK. Now I don't think he's given me the details of his property for me to be able to tell him the exact price, but it is roughly between 2.19 to about 5.5 crore, depending on which size of property he has. It is under construction, expected to come to completion in 2018, and I think most banks have approved it, so which means that more or less all the approvals are in place and banks seem confident of lending to this project. But remember that when because it is still about a year and a half away from completion, it hasn't peaked. The rates normally rise once the project is launched and some part of the structure happens. But now the next 1.5 years, I expect property prices will remain rather flat till it comes to the completion stage. About 6 months before completion is when you'll see another spurt in values. So today, unless you're actually planning to sell it, I think it is only academic interest what the values are. You have to wait till the project is nearing completion for the values to rise significantly.
Right. And also because this is a question from Rajaji Nagar, and we had another question about a BDA project, whether or not it has got BDA approval. Now, Jayashree, we know that the second round of demolitions is underway in Bangalore, and Rajaji Nagar and a couple of other areas are actually being targeted in and around the Yelahanka corridor. Tell us this, how is there any clarity this time around? How can homeowners really figure out whether or not they are on the list, and especially for buyers who intend to buy into projects in this area, Yelahanka being a huge property market, how do you really check whether the project has got BD approval, whether or not it is built on a stormwater drain? Where can you go to seek that information?
Kavita, I don't think there is any one place where you can go and get the approvals. Otherwise, our consumers would have checked it out. One of the things that we are doing, and we've been doing it constantly, when we have our project listings, wherever we see a problem, we try and figure out whether that particular project has its clearances approvals, and we try and put it. But because this announcement is very recent, we will take a little time, but keep watching magicbricks.com, and on the listings that we have on the site, we try and incorporate as many of these end user information as possible. But we will take a little more time before we can upload what's happening in the Bengaluru market, because right now it's very close to announcement and we need to check the details of each project.
Of course, the other thing that you can do as a buyer in the Bengaluru market is be proactive and keep checking the BBMP and the BDA websites. From what we hear, the government is trying to put up some maps of some kind over there. We hear that there are apps also which are helping people determine whether or not the property that they are considering is built on stormwater drains or not. Or the best thing that you can do is reach out to an architect or walk into your ward office and try to get that information. You will need to do a lot more homework because, of course, the BBMP right now is trying to ensure that there are no encroachments on the stormwater drains. Moving on, we have R.K. Ashrani, who's written in through email. He says that he's considering a 2 BHK flat in Virar Global City by Rustomji Builders at a price of 35 lakh rupees. He wants to know if the property price is right and if it is a good investment. Jayashree, what is your call?
When I look at the listings on my site, I can see that a 2 BHK unit of about 750 to 950 is available for between 29 to 41 lakh. Now, depending on the size of the property that you're looking at, this is roughly what you should be looking. In Virar itself, a 2 BHK unit is of about 700 to about 900 square feet is available for between 31 and 40 lakh. So I think if Rustomji's project is a ready to move in project and you're getting 2 and 3 BHK units. So I think more or less I think your property is within the range, so you shouldn't be too worried.
Right, you shouldn't be too worried, R.K. Ashrani. It's a good price that you're getting for that particular property. We have Narasimhan's question next through email. Now, he says that he's considering Godrej Central as one of the options for their 1 BHK offered in Mumbai. He says that he's seen that buying it from the builder, the price quoted then is around 1.27 crore rupees. He wants to know if it is possible to negotiate this down with the developer given the price at which the flats are selling at resale. I would then suggest that he should go in for a resale flat. What would you say, Jayashree?
From the properties that are listed on our site is between 1.95 and 2.25 crore. He's already got a negotiated value of 1.27 crore. So I think you've already probably negotiated with the seller. I would say that you should go ahead with that price because that is a very good price.
It's a very good price that you're getting at. You should just probably go ahead and buy it. And of course, one can't dispute the location that you're buying into. It is a great location at this point in time in Mumbai. There you have it, Chembur, averaging around 17,092 rupees per square foot. Moving on, we have Rupa, who's on the line from Bangalore. I'm told, Rupa, what's your question? How can we help you?
Hello, ma'am. Yeah, I'm planning to buy 3 BHK flat in Sardarpur Road from Bangalore.
Okay.
I want to know whether the rates will come down further after this demonetization. Shall I wait for still more months?
Rupa, we've been answering this question for quite some time. Tell me this, is this a resale apartment or are you buying it directly from the developer?
No, directly from the developer.
Okay, she's buying it directly from the developer, Jayashree, Sarjapur Road in Bengaluru. How will demonetization impact the prices?
When you buy from the developer, I think the best thing to do, and Rupa, right? Rupa, what I would suggest is go to your developers, check out the project that you want, check out the property that you want, and then go sit across the table with the developer. And this is something that I've been recommending again and again, because I think that developers want to sell as much as you want to buy. Please do not go with reports that suggest that there'll be 30 to 40% drop in values. I think that's unreasonable, and that is not likely to happen. What can happen is there's a small leeway of about 8 to 10%. In some markets, max about 12-15%. But I don't think Sarjapur Road is going to see such a big drop, because it is an area of high demand. It is close to the economic corridors, and people are interested in buying there. What you should do is sit across the table with your developer and say that this is, you do know that with demonetization there is expected to be some kind of drop, and I think developers are willing to negotiate with you and give you a good rate. It is much better to go to the developer and ask upfront, and I think if you're serious buyers, the developer is willing to entertain you.
Right, and those were the prices, Rupa, for Sarjapur Road. 5,327 rupees per square foot is what it's averaging. And if you can see that graph over there, prices have gone up 6% in the last 1 year. This is when, mind you, prices have stayed flat or have actually gone down in markets across the country. So like Jayashree just told you, this is a market that is seeing a lot of activity, a lot of demand, which is why you should not really expect too much of a drop in prices over here just on the grounds of demonetization. But do not miss that opportunity. Ensure that when you sit down with the developer, you do negotiate for a better price. And very quickly, Jayashree, we are coming to an end of the show. But we did discuss which segments of the property market will be affected earlier on. Which are the markets that you see, which are the areas that you see where there would be more pressure on prices because of demonetization? Does a lot of supply in the market have anything to do with that?
Two things, Kavita. One is that markets which were cash, where the transactions were cash heavy. And here you would think most of the Delhi NCR market and some parts of the Mumbai market, where a lot of cash transactions happen, those markets are under pressure, especially the secondary markets. I think there was less cash in the primary markets than in the secondary markets. Also, those markets where there is huge amount of stock, so the consumer has so much to choose from, those markets were already under pressure. Markets like, say, Noida Extension, Greater Noida, these are all markets where the supply, a lot of property came into the delivery phase, and suddenly with the demonetization and the exit of cash from the market, these markets are definitely feeling the pressure. But I think any market which was driven by end users, especially that mid-segment, the 30 lakh to about 80-85 lakh, that segment is not so much under pressure, because a lot of the purchases were on borrowed capital. And where there was borrowed capital, I don't think there was a cash transaction happening, and the demonetization may not impact them, except in the case of, where the developers don't have enough cash to complete. There have been significant delays in the market, in the handing over, and that's where the developer has not been able to raise too much money. There is a cash crunch in the market. Those are the markets which would have felt the crunch.
Right. So that's it. That's our take on demonetization for you. Very, very simply, do not believe in the 30 to 50% crash. Those messages that are doing the rounds on WhatsApp, you're not really going to see prices come down to that extent. There is pressure on prices. There is pressure on prices in the resale market. That is where you're buying it from an investor or a home owner, and there is pressure in the luxury property market. These are the segments where there is maximum pressure on prices. There is also pressure on prices in areas that were largely investor driven, like for instance Delhi NCR and some parts of Mumbai. This is where you will see a lot of pressure on prices. However, having said that, do not miss this opportunity to get yourself a good deal. Ensure that you negotiate when you go out in the market with the developer. Expect anything between an 8 to 10% discount. With that, we come to an end of this episode of Property Hotline. Jayashree, thank you very much for coming in and answering all those questions. And of course, we are here to answer all your questions, not just buying, selling and investing, also questions on legal issues, home finance or taxes on real estate. So call, write in or personally tweet to me. We'll make sure that all your questions are answered. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching Property Hotline.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.